I think, let's see, no, that's not true. I was gonna say I think I got everything done, but I'm waiting for lawnmower blades. I got a Craftsman in 2 days ago. Just waiting for blades. Those will be here tomorrow, and then I can get that one returned. I don't know. He lives in Kansas, or Kansas City. I don't know when he'll be back. And got this one finished today. Put in a new spindle and pulley, and it's running good. Got it all washed up the best I could. So that's a heavy-duty machine. It's a 2013. It's kind of old, but it's a big commercial machine. And what else is going on? I should have told you that I got this Craftsman. Oh, so I'm still waiting for this guy. That just needed a service and a mouse nest, and we had he had a pressure washer. So pressure washer, the pump was not relieving its pressure when you let go of the valve. That's just an unloader valve. So we got that fixed. This is all ready to go. Just waiting for him to pick it up. This one, I didn't wash it very good. It was in pretty good shape, but it's not a service. This is just a he dented in the deck, so the blades are hitting it, and this bar was just massively bent, so I straightened the bar. That bar was $50. Wow. And I wasn't even, you couldn't even buy it from OEM. They changed this design of it, so you had to buy it from Walmart or Amazon. Amazon was much more expensive than Walmart. I think it was $30 at Walmart. So I was going to get it from Walmart, and then I thought, well, I'm going to try to straighten it. It was impact damage, so I don't warranty impact damage. And then I come down here to the generators. Let's get this generator put away. I've been using the generators to wash machines, so I don't have to run it off solar. Costs a little extra in propane, but sure is easier. I don't have to worry about it being a sunny day to wash a lawnmower. So yesterday, you may remember I had a slight issue with this. So we were doing laundry, and I walked down here. It just didn't sound right. There was something wrong with it. It was obvious there was something wrong with it. So I looked at the voltage, and it was at 101 volts. So it should be at 124 volts. So to get the laundry done, you were with me when it happened. I unplugged it, and then I plugged it back in. It went back up to 124 volts. I plugged it back in, and I thought it was the battery charger that was going to cause this, that was causing us issues. So I dropped the amps down on the battery charger from 25 down to 10, just so we get through the laundry. And let's see, I'm trying to remember. No, I changed oil this morning. Never mind. I change the oil every 25 hours. Now, I have been checking the spark arrestor, I don't know, every 100 hours or so. But you got to know that in the wintertime, I was running with the Eco off, which means it has higher RPMs. With higher RPMs, the exhaust is hotter. But during the summertime, I've been running it with Eco on. And the reason I do that is because of oil temperature. With this being an air-cooled engine, when it's cold outside, you need more RPMs to get the engine oil up to temperature. Otherwise, gas and water is going to settle into the oil and it'll never burn off. It'll never evaporate, nothing. So in the wintertime, I run it with Eco off. As a matter of fact, anything below 60 degrees, I run it with Eco off. So I bought this in October 24th, and pretty much the entire time I've been running it with Eco off until, oh, maybe the last month and a half. And so I ran it with Eco on. Well, when you're running with Eco on, it's not getting as hot. So the exhaust is not getting as hot. which means your spark arrestor, which sits right at the exhaust, will start accumulating carbon. Well, it always accumulates carbon. That's not the issue. The hotter it runs, the more that carbon will burn off. So when you have it eco off, it's burning off that carbon. But when you run it with eco on, no, I got that backwards. When you run it with eco on, it's burning off that carbon because it's running faster, producing more heat. But when you run it with eco off, it's not burning off that carbon near as well. So in the last month and a half, the carbon just built right up. I didn't even make it 100 hours. I guess we're at probably at 75 hours. So since the last time I checked it. So my point is, so yesterday it was sounding terrible, but I just wanted to get through the laundry. Well, last night I came down to start it, and it was hard to pull. Had too much compression. I could feel it. I pulled it maybe twice. It started, but it sounded really deep. Instead of this, I don't know, lighter running. It just sounded muffled. So I took it up here and I took that spark arrestor off because I was pretty sure with the high compression and that muffler just overworking itself, I was pretty sure that's what it was. And sure enough, it was just completely caked with carbon. So I took it out and took a blowtorch to it and cleaned it up. Actually, I had to take the blowtorch to it twice because I didn't get it all off the first time. What you do is you take the blowtorch, and it's just a screen. You just take the screen out, blow it real, blowtorch it until it glows red, and then just brush it off. But there was still a couple of hunks on it, so I did it twice. Anyway, it's clean now. So I'm going to do it, check it, at least in the summertime when I'm running with the eco off. Every oil change, which is every 25 hours. It's not that hard. It's 4 screws. You pop off the spark arrestor, burn it off, put it back in, put the 4 screws in. Now most people will take those out, and I just don't feel like I want to. It does prevent fires. I was running the chainsaw, got that Ryobi chainsaw, and it did all the firewood that we pretty much have now. So I was out in the woods and I was cutting a tree up, and all of a sudden I looked down to the ground and there was a fire. Well, that doesn't have a spark arrestor in it. So I guess when I was cutting, spark came out, hit the leaves, the dried leaves, and it started a fire. I mean, of course I got it out. But when you're down there with a generator and you're not watching it, you know, it could start a fire. Of course, it's off the ground. And I do put that metal cover over it. So the sparks would typically hit the metal cover, cool off before it hit the ground. But I don't want to risk it. I'll just use the spark arrestor and just clean it. But I think it is... I'm not a big fan of taking them out. I know it's government regulation and we're supposed to not like government regulation, and truthfully there's a lot of government regulations that I think are just overkill. But some of them make sense. If you're out there traveling the country and you're living in national forest and you're over there in dry country and you're running your generator and you start a forest fire, it's not just you. You're affecting everybody. Same thing here. I mean, you affect everybody. You start a forest fire. I mean, the fire department has to come out. It's volunteer fire department. And, you know, the trees go up. It's a mess. So these people will take it out. And I know they take it out. I mean, I've heard too many people say they take it out. It's like the majority of people. Just take it out. You don't really need it. It doesn't do anything. It does do something. And considering I started a fire, I know that can happen. Now, I will admit that Ryobi does not have a spark arrestor, so, you know, I didn't know that at the time. I just assumed it did, but it doesn't. And when you run a 2-cycle, like a weed eater or a chainsaw that does have a spark arrestor, they carbon up really fast because you're burning oil. You're putting oil into your gasoline. That's 2-cycle oil. That oil doesn't burn as well. So that's why your 2-cycle smokes so much. So all that oil is accumulating on that. So when that, like on a weed eater, they always have the biggest problems. Because a lot of people don't rev them all the way up, top speed. They just kind of let the trigger run just enough to spin the string. And then they just go around. That way they're not breaking the string all day. But doing that, you're literally carburing up the muffler and that spark arrestor. I've seen weed eaters come in, the carburetor's completely clogged. I say carburetor, muffler. The muffler is completely clogged. You basically have to buy a new muffler. It's just the best way to fix it. So just, throwing this out there, especially those, this is an off-grid channel, and sometimes we do actually talk about off-grid. If you're running a generator, you need to maintain them. I mean, it really is important to maintain them. I mean, the thing is that generator is $250 and it just sips gas. Just incredibly low amount of gas. So, we got the Champions, the ones we covered up, but those use a ton of gas. Now you got to understand the average life expectancy. I know that you can get a Honda generator to 10,000 hours. I know it. But the average life expectancy of a Honda generator is 1,200 hours. Because nobody takes care of them. They don't clean the spark arrestor. They don't change oil every 25 hours. They just let them run, and then 1,200 hours, it's gone. This $250 generator that sips gas is at 1,375 hours. So it's supposed to last 500 hours. That's the average life expectancy of these Chinese generators, and it's already exceeded the average life expectancy of a Honda. I know people tell me, oh, I'd never live without a Honda. The last time somebody says anything about a Honda, he said, I wouldn't buy anything about a Honda. I wish I still had mine, but it was stolen. Okay, but you can't afford another Honda because they're so expensive. What are you paying? $1,000, $1,200 for these Hondas? Whereas I can pay $12 or $250, get at least 1,400 hours out of it. That's where it's at right now. I suspect we'll get 5,000 hours out of it. Changing the oil regularly like you're supposed to. So the thing is if that catches fire or it gets stolen, I can afford another one. So to me, it makes more sense to buy these cheap ones, take care of them, run them as long as they'll run, and buy a new one, because you can buy, 5 of them for about the price of a Honda, maybe even 6 of them. So, if you get each one of them to last 1,000 hours, 800 hours, you get maybe 8,000 hours out of it. So what is that, 8 Hondas? So to me, it makes more sense to buy the cheap ones. The Champions, I love the Champions. They run propane and gas, but I damaged that one. I just assumed I could run it on propane running the well, but it got too hot. The propane runs hot. Nobody tells you that. I mean, it's out there. They don't give you that information. So I already had to adjust the valves. So I'm really babying those now. I've got 10W or 5W40 oil in it with zinc. I'm going to change it every 25 hours. And I only run them just to run the well and the pressure washer. Occasionally I'll run the welder also. That's it. So if you'll click this up next box to take the video over to my other channel, I really appreciate it. Go check it out. So if I can inspire you, take care of your stuff so you can live your dreams. Thanks for watching.